Hey there! So 2020 is coming to an end finally, and it's actually New Year's Eve tomorrow, and it seems like a good time for some wrap up. A lot of things happened this year and the beginning of my sewing journey is one of them. I got my sewing machine right when quarantine started, first in March, with no prior experience, neither in machine sewing nor hand sewing. I didn't even know how to properly sew a button on, and my sewing machine is actually the first sewing machine that I've ever touched. So really I started from the rock bottom when it comes to sewing skills. I'd been thinking about trying it though. In recent years I picked up some handcraft hobbies like cross-stitching and knitting, and I really enjoyed myself, so I thought that sewing would be fun for me too. And I started reading about it and watching some YouTube videos, and I got a lot of inspiration. And when the pandemic started and it looked like we would spend a lot of time indoors, I thought that okay, now or never, it's the time for me to buy a sewing machine. So I got my machine, I get this beauty, and the first ever thing that I've sewn in my entire life was this pillow cover. It needs ironing, sorry, but it's fresh from laundry, so it's not really great. But I still use it, so I think it's not that bad too. Then I decided to make a simple backpack. First I screwed up measurements and I made a very narrow backpack. It looks actually funny, but I have no idea where it went. I couldn't find it, so I can't show it. But then I decided to make another one, and I made this one. But as you can see, I ended up never putting a rope through it, so I never used it. But I think it's pretty good. Obviously, I made a bunch of masks. They've really worn out now because they were washed like 100 times. And it was a wild ride. Really, I thought it would be the easiest thing to sew, but it ended up being a pain in the neck for me. They are really shitty, to be honest, but they're still in use, so yeah, they're usable at least. Then I wanted to practice more, so I shortened some gym pants, and it's not very good. I didn't know how to sew elastic things then. And then I made my first thrift flip ever, and I made this top from a romper. So I just cut it, and I also lengthened its sleeves, which I'm very proud of, and I actually made a video about it, so you can check this out. Every single thing that I will show today that is in my videos, I will put the links to the videos down below, so you can check this out. And I really like this top. I think it's a win. And then I made a cross-stitch Nintendo Switch dock cover, so it's more like a cross-stitching project, but it involves sewing, and I made also a video about it. And this pattern is on my Etsy, so you can follow my whole tutorial. First cross-stitch it with my pattern and then sew it. And I still use it. It sits on my Nintendo Switch dock cover under my TV, and I'm very proud of it. I think it's super cool. Actually, a few people asked me to make another one to sell. I ended up never doing it. I actually have it cross-stitched, but I just couldn't make myself sew it. Maybe 2021 will make me do it, who knows. And then I decided that it was the time to make some garment from scratch for the very first time. I wanted to make something very simple, and I thought about a skirt, and I decided to make a skirt from a circle, and it ended up not being as easy as I thought it would. It really is a mess. The whole thing is a mess, the belt is a mess. I never hemmed it because I just got so frustrated, and I never finished it. I have a plan to finish it, actually to fix it, but I just can't look at it. I got so frustrated actually that I stopped sewing. It was in June, and I just you know, stopped being excited about sewing. I think I just didn't feel like sewing anymore because of it. I thought that it's too much work to learn it and that I would never make any wearable garment from scratch. And yeah, my sewing machine just started collecting dust. And then in August I thought that this baby was too expensive to just be abandoned after making a few crappy projects, but I felt lost. I didn't really know how to learn it, and I decided that the best thing would probably be to take part in some sewing course. I found a great little school in my city and I enrolled in a beginner's sewing course for October. It was in August. And I felt super excited. I get a new energy for sewing, you know, and before this course even started, I started timidly sorting things out between me and my sewing machine, and I shortened some window curtains and I replaced a broken zipper in pants. To this point, I'm very proud of it. Just look how good it looks. Like nothing happened there. And I even tried to sew from a pattern for the very first time. I also made a video about it and I made this top, viscose top. I think it's cute. I really like it. I wore it only once, but because it was autumn already, so I thought I will wear it a lot more when spring comes. But at that time I thought that it was pretty okay. I thought it's wearable, but it isn't really. The finishing of it is not the best. It is on the pile of things for me to fix, but overall it's a pretty cute basic top, and I think it was a good idea to pick this as my first pattern project. And then the sewing course started, and like I said, it was a beginner's sewing course, so we started from very basic things, which was great because I learned a lot. I learned that some things I didn't do in a proper manner, and some tips and tricks. You know, I just stopped being so clueless when it comes to sewing. And so the first thing that we did was again a pillowcase, pretty similar to the one that I made myself as my first ever thing. And then we made a tote bag, but it's not just your simple tote bag. This one has a zipper and it has a lining. I think it's super cool. I'm very proud of this tote bag. Then we started talking about making garments, but to this point it really helped me tremendously. I really started believing that there is hope for me. So then everyone made a basic skirt pattern for themselves, so like for their measurements, and then using this pattern everyone had to decide what kind of skirt they wanted to sew. And I decided to sew a mini skirt with pleats, like two pleats. I'm not sure how they're called, and I found some super cool buttons for it, and it also has a lining and it has an invisible zipper. Overall, I think it turned out really great. I'm not sure if I would be able to make one myself at home, because with the help from a teacher there, it's obviously a lot easier. She just guided us through the process. Obviously I made notes, but still, a skirt with a lining and a zipper is pretty complicated project for me, I don't know. And then we made a top of choice, and I decided to make a hoodie. So it's a really oversized cropped hoodie. I really love it. I wear it a lot. I plan to make another one for my best friend because I really think that it's a great basic things to have in your wardrobe, especially now when we all live in sweatpants and hoodies, don't we? And it was the end of my sewing course. Like I said, it helped me tremendously. I got a lot of positive energy for sewing, I got a lot of motivation, and ever since that I don't have any intention of quitting. I really loved sewing even more, and the most important thing that I learned there was the confidence that I can fix anything that I screw up. All the stitches can be unpicked and it's not a thing to worry about. I just keep in mind that I can ruin some material, so I don't really buy any expensive material, to not be too stressed out by it, to not get frustrated when I ruin it. And also I learned that it doesn't all have to be perfect, you know. There are some things that no one will see, and even if they are visible, most of people wouldn't notice, so you don't have to stress about making everything perfect, because it doesn't have to be perfect. And because of various reasons, I don't spend very much time sewing nowadays, so I didn't make a lot of things after my sewing course, but I made a few, and the first one is this sweatshirt. It's from a pattern from a Burda magazine. I really like it, I think it's super cute. And then I made a matching one for my dog. It's from a pattern from Etsy. She looks so cute in it, I just can't really. And speaking of things that can be fixed, then I made a oven gloves. I thought it would be another really simple project to make, but it wasn't. One of them is in use, but another one I screwed up too much to just, you know, get over it and use it, because I just couldn't make this bias tape work, because it was all too thick for me to make it work with so narrow bias tape, so I will fix it in the future. And then I made another thrift flip video. This one was a proper thrift flip. I knew what I was doing, sort of, and I flipped this sweatshirt. It had regular sleeves, so I replaced it with these mesh sleeves and I cropped it, and I really love it. It's so extra. I wear it maybe not a lot because I don't wear things like that when I'm staying at home, but I wore it so. And in the same video I turned pants to this little skirt, and I also wear it, so it was another success. And I also made this cute little peplum top for my dress. It was a simple dress and I just cut the bottom part and I made a peplum out of it, and I wore it to Christmas dinner. So yeah, I really like it too. And then I made another top for my dog. It was from the same pattern, it's just a different material, more Christmassy one for also for Christmas dinner. And the last thing I made, it was right after Christmas, a couple of days ago. I tried some 10-minute sewing projects and I made a scrunchie, a headphones cover and a sunglasses case, and I made a video about it actually. It will be uploaded next week as my next video. And these were last things that I made. That's it. And if you are at the beginning of your sewing journey and if you struggle, I hope it all could cheer you up a bit. I know it can be frustrating sometimes, but it gets better. Looking back, when I felt so discouraged in June, I thought that really I could never make any garment that would be wearable. And now, look at me, I wear my own clothes. Not now, but in general. And not only I wear clothes I made, I also strongly believe that there are some great projects ahead. I have a lot in my mind and I have really some great plans for 2021 when it comes to sewing. I started a little my 2021 sewing journey notebook, and yeah, alright, this is my whole 2020 pandemic sewing journey. I hope you liked it. If so, then make sure to hit the thumbs up, and for more sewing and cross-stitch related content, consider subscribing. And I think that's it for today, so see you in the next one. Bye!